Okay, in this first video, we'll be talking about how to make sales as a copywriter. So the first thing that, as a copywriter, the first thing that you should do is definitely look into research, right? That's the foundation of how all copy is built upon. Basically, if you have bad research, it's nothing is going to work, right? You can have like super fancy copy, all the wording really, really good. But if you have just the research messed up, like you're not hitting on the pain points, or you're not finding the pain points, you're not finding the desires, then it's not really going to work. So research is definitely paramount, and that's something that not a lot of people really focus on. So they think, it's all about the copy. They spend, you know, hours on the copy and they don't create any results because their research is not tight enough. So I had the chance to talk to the CEO of Harmon Brothers, and Harmon Brothers creates some of the best video ads in the world. And the CEO of Harmon Brothers, he told me that he used to work at a really intensive research facility, right? Like the Census Bureau or something. And because he worked there, right, he really understood research on such a deep level. And their process of like doing research can take months, right? To create like a 3-minute video, but it converts like crazy. So just think about research, how really important that is to your overall everything, to your overall copy, right? So after you got your research done and you really understand your customer, right, you can really step into the shoes of your customer. Then you can move on to standing out, right? And basically standing out in copy, to understand how to do that is mechanism. Understanding the unique mechanism is how you stand out. So a great example is for P90X, right? Beachbody is the owner of P90X, and P90X is a product. So for that particular product, they invented a mechanism, and that mechanism was called muscle confusion, right? So Beachbody even said, right, themselves, they went on an interview and they said, you know, P90X is not really a whole lot different from our other products, right? The only difference, right, that we had with this P90X product was that we created a unique mechanism, and that mechanism was called muscle confusion. And you can see, if you look around, you'll see unique mechanisms everywhere. So generally, when you buy something, right, when you buy, let's say, a tube of toothpaste, for instance, right, it says advanced whitening power, right? And it uses a mechanism. Some toothpastes use a different mechanism, right, from each other, so to differentiate themselves. So one tube of toothpaste might say they use scope to whiten your teeth. Another might say they use some sort of whitening technology, right, that only they patented and they invented, right? So, or some other one might say they use a unique chemical compound to whiten your teeth, and they show you the process behind it. You sort of see like the science behind it. And that's exactly how they're able to stand out, right? With protein powders, the same thing, right? A natural organic protein, but using our synthetic blend, you're able to get this result. So that is the mechanism, but don't forget the research, right? You have the research, you move on to the mechanism, you start standing out, right? And the last thing to make sales as a copywriter is just understand one formula. So a lot of copywriters really get caught up in all these different formulas, right? If you look out there and you just Google search copywriting formula, there's so many formulas. But here's the thing with the formulas, right? If you get caught up in the formulas and you just keep trying different formulas all the time, then you're spending time in the wrong areas, right? You should be spending time on research. You should be spending time on mechanism, right? The formula part should already be laid out for you. It's not going to be the game changer, right? It's not going to really be the differentiator in sales. All you really need from a formula is one that has worked in the past. So basically, they're formulas because they've worked in the past. So just choose one copywriting formula, get really, really, really used to it, right? Really understand how to use that formula. Go deep instead of going broad with that formula. And that is exactly how you start making sales as a copywriter.